All right, all. Wanted to share with you a couple of realizations I had this week. It might be a short episode, but I found that every time I say it's a short episode, it ends up being a long episode. So let's just start with the notes, some revelations that I had just sort of while existing. Here we go. We live in a society that has programmed us to believe in this idea that we aren't doing anything worthwhile with our lives unless we are working. Say that again. We live in a society that has programmed us to believe in this idea that we aren't doing anything worthwhile unless we are working, and we're still working towards some sort of monetary goal. Right? If you're not earning money, you're not doing anything. Right? So, for example, I had a couple of friends of mine this past month. They've been sick, like ill. And I think I mentioned it the last episode, but this idea where I can't rest, they don't want to rest because somehow resting means that they're not being productive. So even as they're sick, they will still go to or are trying to go to the gym to work out. And that kind of stuck with me. Like, if your body is trying to rest to the point where it has made you sick, or to the point where you're so susceptible to a virus, right, that you're now, like, you're weakened by something as small as a virus, you need rest, right? Something's wrong. You need rest so that you can rebuild your immune system so that you can continue on, right? It's all about balance. But the fact that they were incapable, or they found it difficult to just sit and be still without feeling like they were not productive or being productive, or that they had to be doing something, kind of stuck with me, right? Because I said everything costs, or you've got to pay for something. You've got to balance something out with something else. So if you're working really hard, right, and then you're not balancing it out with rest, eventually that rest will be forced upon you. Talked about it in the last episode, but I really wanted to meditate on why that is the case. And I realized it's because we live in a society that has programmed us to believe in this idea that we aren't doing anything worthwhile with our lives unless we are working. So we do this to our kids, for example, right? If you see like somebody just sitting down, right, we say to them, why are you just sitting there doing nothing? I read this book called Walden Two, by B.F. Skinner, who is a behaviorist. Now, he was mentioned, his books and his writing and his research on essentially behavioral psychology and how it can be utilized to control the masses, was mentioned in the book Age of Surveillance Capitalism, which I've been talking about over the last couple of episodes, right? And really saying like you guys should read. The author mentioned this book, and she said that this is something, his psychology is something that people who are steering the collective or attempting to steer the collective with technology, they're using some of his research, some of his tactics on us in order to essentially create a world that benefits them. And so I thought, well, let me go check out some of his books just to see what they're talking about. And so I started off by reading the book Walden Two. I've gotten a couple of the books that I'm going to read over the next couple of days. And in it, it's a fictional story, but it was B.F. Skinner's idea of what a utopia could be. And essentially the conclusion that he leads the readers to is that you cannot have freedom and utopia simultaneously. Now, you guys know at this point in time, I don't believe we're free. We're not. I think this illusion of freedom is part of the problem, right? You think that the things that you're doing out of your own free will. And so if you don't believe that you're a slave, or you're in servitude to something, if you don't accept the fact that from birth you have been conditioned to behave in the way that you're behaving now, to live in the way you're living now, to value the things that you value now from birth, right, then you don't really feel the necessity of doing something different, which is part of the program. You accept it as normative, then you don't feel, I don't want to use the word REBEL, because I notice particularly on YouTube, certain of my episodes where I talk about that, those videos get suppressed. And it's happened quite a few times. So if you notice that I'm not quite saying the word, just kind of figure out what I mean. Like I said, I'm going forward. I'm really not going to speak directly anymore. Start to understand. It makes you start to understand why certain books throughout history have been coded, and maybe they suffered for the same thing, or through the same issues that we're kind of going through now. I mean, not maybe, they definitely did. Probably with worse circumstances, or worse, consequences than than just suppression of media, right? So, so I guess my mindset was that, listen, we're already not free. Like, we're not free. So I, despite what the author of the Age of Surveillance Capitalism had to say about Skinner's research and his writings, I chose to read Walden Two, and I found it interesting. His idea is, if you remove choice and you remove freedom and you condition people towards a particular behavior, you can essentially have them live in a world where they essentially sacrifice freedom for utopia and for happiness, and a world where they are essentially living to the best of their ability, maximizing the best, to their fullest potential, right? So if your life isn't stuck in the monotony of doing the day-to-day grind, sitting in a fucking, car in rush hour traffic every single day, 5 days a week, looking forward to Friday night so you can drink on Friday night, drink on Saturday afternoon, drink on Saturday night, and then recover from your hangover on Sunday just to turn around and do that shit all over again. What could you be doing in a world where you don't have to do that? You're not working this monotonous job, essentially being a slave to somebody else's dream, trying to actualize their reality, and you're literally just a cog in the wheel. What would you do? How would you benefit humanity as a whole? So part of the reason why I can sit around and read is because I don't have to work the traditional way, right? I don't have a 9 to 5. I'm an artist, and so I can create. But there was a time when I had my own business and I ran my own business, and so I had to work. And while I was working, essentially just to pay bills, to pay my car note, to pay my mortgage, and pay my rent, I didn't have the time. I didn't have the leisure to read. And while I always questioned the nature of our reality and always kind of challenged things, challenged convention, and I painted and I wrote, and I didn't have the leisure time to do that. So it wasn't until I got married, and my husband is a provider, and so he has afforded me the ability to now create full time. So I can paint, and I can listen to podcasts, and I can read. Well, I don't actually listen to podcasts. I can record podcasts. I don't know why I said that. I listen to my own podcasts. I can record podcasts, and I can ponder these sort of ideas and read, 3 to 5 books a week, and really sit with them and marinate on them. And so a lot of people ask me, how do you come up with these ideas? And I, there is this penchant. There's this, you tend to elevate people, right, who sort of think in a different way than you do, or, kind of behave differently. And so I noticed that. And my response to that is, I'm not special. The only thing that differs between me and you is time. I don't have anybody I'm not working towards somebody else's goals. I have the free time to paint, to think, to contemplate, to philosophize, to read, right? And that's literally the only difference between me and you, to daydream. Right. Because I'm telling you right now, 10 years ago, when I was working towards, having a successful business and had my online store, and I was doing all of that and doing that grind, while this, the seed of the person who looks around and sort of makes these observations of nature, if you believe in natal chart, I think my sun is on the 7th house or something like that. I don't know. But it's intrinsic to me to question the nature of reality. And for those of you who are familiar with my Animally page back when, I had my first Instagram page, I've been talking about this. I was talking about NPCs before it became mainstream. I was talking about predictive programming and, mind control and thought control and all of that before it's sort of become normal now. And that was 10 years ago plus, you know what I mean? But I was able to sort of ramp this up. So now I can sit and have these sort of discussions with you guys because I have time. My time is more or less now my own. Now, I'm saying it's my own, but it's not, because I'm still creating for you guys now, right? The content that I'm putting out is for you guys, because you guys don't have the downtime. So I can sit and read 3-5 books and then condense the information and then deliver it to you guys to listen to the content of 3 to 5 books in 1.5 hours. And the lessons, because I know most people, because of the way our society is set up right now, they don't have the ability or the freedom to do so. Now imagine a world, let's just say it's 1% of the population that is sentient, sapient, conscious. Okay, so imagine a world where every sentient, sapient, conscious individual has the freedom, the ability, right, where they don't have to worry about a roof over their head and paying bills, and they have the downtime to create, to paint, to sculpt, to think, to invent, to think of ways in which to move society towards a better way of living, a utopia. Can we create a utopia in this reality? Imagine hundreds of millions of people moving in that direction, what that means for the collective consciousness, for us as a species, and for this planet as a whole. The system that we have right now benefits a very small percentage of people. And the people, many of the people who have the freedom and the leisure, the so-called leisure class, to move in that way, to where their lives are their own and their time is their own. On some level, a lot of them are still subject to a lot of the bullshit that we've all been programmed with. So they're busy still pursuing things, right? They're not moving towards self-actualization. Because if they were, our reality would be different, because they have the power and the wealth and the ability to change things dramatically. I only have, like where I am right now, I have the time and the space and the resources to basically just make sure that like I can at least, do what I'm doing now, but I don't have the power or the wealth to make significant changes. I'll give you an example. Elon Musk, he said if I think the World Health Foundation, one of those, I think, was it WHO? Well, World Health Organization, I think that's what it was. He DM'd them and he said, if you give me a monetary sort of like itinerary or like a bill on how I can stop world hunger right now, I will do everything in my power to like move in that direction, right? And they told him, I think it was going to be like, I don't remember the exact number, but they gave him like, I think it was like $5 or $6 billion or something like that. And then he never did anything with that. And then he turned around and bought Twitter for like 10 times more than the amount that they told him would cure world hunger. So that's what I'm saying. And his drive is the acquisition of wealth and power. Right. So he's still moving in the way that we've been programmed in a capitalistic society, right? In a Western society with a Western mindset that you have to live this world where it's just, can you accumulate as much wealth and power as possible for yourself, as opposed to self-actualization for as many people as possible. And the way you move people towards self-actualization is you do start by the, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You start with the base level, make sure that they have food, safety, shelter. All right. And so the people, I'm not a billionaire or a multimillionaire by any stretch of the imagination. That's kind of what I'm saying. The people who are, they're still asleep. They're not moving towards self-actualization, and they're not moving towards moving society as a whole towards getting as many human beings who are conscious in a state where we are collectively self-actualized. They're just pushing towards more and more power and wealth and accumulation for themselves, which is dumb. Because if you're not moving in a way where the world itself becomes better while you exist and you have the power and the resources to change things dramatically, right? You only have a short amount of time on this planet before your avatar sort of dies, and then you may have to come back, because I don't think with all the billions of dollars a person like Musk is really thinking about ways to exit the simulation, or ways to essentially ensure that should he have to reincarnate back into this reality, that his next incarnation is somewhere in a world where everyone has the same opportunities and towards living a good quality of life. because he's not, you can tell by his actions that he's not thinking in that way. No, he's instead trying to, create a thing like a Neuralink, or maybe even working towards like consciousness upload into, whatever. So to prolong his present existence for as long as possible, or to prolong the life of his present incarnation or of his present avatar. I'm not attacking him specifically. I don't have a problem with him either way. I don't care. Like, he is what he is. But I'm using him as an example to kind of prove my point, or to make a point, not to prove it. I can't prove any point. These are obviously all just opinions, right? So that tells me, based on his actions, that he's not quite there. He's still, even in the leisure class, still moving in a way where he's still being driven by the same sort of bullshit that we've been driven by, where unless you're doing something that's going to make you money, you're not a productive member of society. And that's something we need to really sit with, and let's talk about it. In the book Walden Two, there was towards the end, there was a lady who was a part of this utopian community that the fictional doctor in the book, I believe his name was Dr. Fraser, he had created this community. It was like a utopia. And the visitors to this community he basically laid it out and explained how it worked. I don't want to spoil the book, but I do think it's worth a read. But not as much as the Age of Surveillance Capitalism is worth a read. I'm still going to keep pushing that book, I think, until next year. And by next year, I mean like March next year, not Sunday. Because please read the book. But the characters in the story, they sort of go through different aspects and they learn about this community. And then towards the end, one of the characters is like determined to prove that people who live in this community really are like inherently unhappy, because they have so much free time. They only work 4 hours a day, and then they have all this other time where they're essentially doing nothing, right? Some of them are painting, some of them are writing, some of them are gardening, some of them are like essentially just pursuing arts and creative work. And one of the visitors to this community was saying like, how would this sustain that human sort of the discomfort that comes from boredom, And the Dr. Fraser, who created this community, he said, well, that feeling is a reflection of the failures of our present society. That does not exist in a world or in a utopia or in a community or society where you're not driven by this need to just consume, and to outperform and to compete. So that sense of boredom can be filled in much simpler means. So anyway, this character walks up, he sees a lady sitting on a bench, and so he asks her and he says, "Are you happy?" And her response is like something to the effect of, you don't ask me whether or not I'm healthy. You're not asking me whether or not I'm well. You're asking me if I'm happy. And I think she responds something to the effect of, yeah, I mean, in this present moment, I am. And then the character responds, well, how can you be happy sitting around doing nothing? All right. And that question made me kind of pause. Like, it really clicked in for me. How can you be happy sitting around doing nothing? And guess what her response was? Her response was, I am not doing nothing. I'm resting. That line blew my fucking mind. Why would that blow my mind? Because, yes, my whole life, look, I am the child of Nigerians. You know what I mean? I'm an immigrant child. You didn't just sit. You had to be doing something. So doing nothing, right? Drawing was doing nothing. Just laying down, daydreaming was doing nothing. And so if your parents, God bless them, I love my parents, but it's just condition of their society. All right, you're a hard worker, so you work hard. So if they happen upon you and you're literally just sitting there, they would be like, how can you just sit there doing nothing? And so as a result, that got instilled in your mind that, like, if you're not working, you're nothing. If you're not earning, you're nothing. If you're not doing something, you're doing nothing. And that line where she just said, listen, I'm not doing nothing, I'm resting, resting is something. I don't know if it was as mind-blowing, for me to say this to you as it was for me, but it completely shook me. Like, holy shit, I have still, to this day, with all that I know, or think I know in any way, I still to this day feel like if I'm not earning, if I'm not being paid for something, right? If the podcast isn't earning me money, or if I'm not, making this or that, or, I've not reached a certain goal, whatever, in all of my creative, I've not sold enough paintings or sold enough t-shirts, whatever. If I'm not being fiscally, I guess, rewarded for my time spent, then I'm nothing, then I'm a failure, right? And so I will feel that this podcast and my, videos and my, channels, and all my creative work I will consider myself a success once I start earning a certain amount of money. That's a slave mentality. And that keeps you on that fucking wheel. There's not a lot of us that just do shit just to do shit. I talked to another friend. They love to cook. And so every time they cook, they'd send me pictures of their food. And I was like, cool, you should post that on social media just to share, because you're sending it to me. And obviously you love your creative work. I mean, cooking is an art form. Why don't you just post it on social media and share with others? And then they launched in to tell me right now it just wouldn't be financially profitable. The market is saturated right now, social media with food, unless if you really want to engage and want to get advertisements, you have to be working towards something. You have to make sure that your content is, engaging. You have to make sure you're doing deep in-depth write-ups. You have to respond to comments, all of that. And so to them, it wasn't worth them just sharing pictures of their food on social media. And before I read this book, I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. And then after I read this book, I was like, even if you didn't share it on social media, even if you put it on your own website where you're creating your own content, because obviously social media has their own fucking issues, as we've been discussing in the last 2-3 episodes, you not being able to earn money from something should not be a deterrent to you doing something. And you shouldn't be doing something with the express purpose of eventually being able to earn money back. That's a slave mindset. Right? If you can't sit and do nothing, and I'm saying nothing in quotes, if you can't sit and rest, you've worked your whole fucking life. We all have. If you can't sit and rest just for the sake of resting after you've been busting your ass for a 40-hour week working towards earning money for somebody else, you're a slave. I'm not even saying that shit to you. Please don't take it personal. I'm saying the shit to myself, because even when I went to London, I was trying to move away because I was looking for opportunities. And thankfully, it wasn't I know my ego was driving me in that way, but there was a greater part of me that was let's not make plans. Let's just go with the flow. And thankfully, I did do that, as I've talked to you about it on this podcast. But there was an aspect of me, there was a part of me that felt yeah, I need to be working towards something, eventually some monetary, situation where I am going to be working, where I can find work. So justify me going to London as often as I would like to go in the future. After reading that book, I took a step back, and it was just literally just that line, and even that chapter was the book is good, but that line was kind of shook the cobwebs off my head a bit, and I was just bro, just if you want to go to London, just go to London. If opportunities present themselves where you can earn, money, with your art or, speaking, whatever opportunities present themselves, that's one thing, that's fine. But gosh, just go for the sake of going, because this is life you're living. Go live. Life is for living. I'm hesitant to say you only have one life, right? You only live once, because I don't believe that. But you certainly only remember one incarnation at a time. And so if you're forgetting all the other incarnations for the most part, except for deja vus here and there, then the reason why is because you're supposed to essentially live like this is your only incarnation as this avatar. It's certainly probably going to be the only way you've played this avatar in this specific way. So like, go for the experience. Like, pretend you don't believe in reincarnation, and pretend you don't believe that all the time is happening right now, so you exist simultaneously as both alive and dead, and pretend that this is your only go. And fucking just go. Pretend. Like the book The Practicing Stoic, I think, talks about this, where they say the Stoic practice is essentially to move in a way like, they've told you only have a certain amount of time to live, very short amount of time to live, and move accordingly. Because we all kind of move like we're all going to live till like 85 years old, and we're not. And even if we all did somehow manage to live, and by we, I mean our avatars, not us, consciousness, but even if our avatars have a full extension of life of 85 minimum, all right, when you are 85, you will not be able to have the same experiences as you would be able to have at 30. And yet we keep delaying our life experiences so that we can work, so we can earn money for corporations that control us and control our lives, so that we can then turn around and spend money on credit cards that pay bankers, right, who continue to control our lives, right, to buy shit from corporations who also control our lives, so that we can impress people we don't particularly care for, who are also trying to impress us, to perpetuate this cycle of consumption, to fill this hole in our hearts that stems from the fact that we're not living in a way that's true to us and our desires. And so we're buying things instead of having experiences. So you work your ass off and you put money in your 401k, and you work your ass off and you put money in your retirement. That statistically speaking, a lot of us may not even get to spend, if we're being completely realistic. Sorry, it's a bit dark, but it's true. And by us, I mean your avatar, not you, because you'll just keep coming back. But you won't remember. Unless somebody invents something in the next 100 years that allows you to remember your past and future incarnations, as well as your present, as well, and link the two, or link the three. And who knows? Certainly possible. If I can imagine it, it's probably a thing somewhere. Right. So that's the other thing. What do? Right? So then you go, you put your shit on credit card that pays the banks. Or if you put that on savings, guess what? That pays the banks. I'm not saying live mad. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying like don't save money. You know what I mean? Right? But I'm saying if you put your money in the bank, whatever you have in the savings account, it's not sitting in a box. Banks are taking your money and they're making money off of your money. Right? And they've instilled you with this fear of like, you got to make sure that you save, because if you don't save, you never know what's going to happen. And then how are you going to be able to make ends meet and all of that, which I get it, because that's overall the fucked up thing about the society we presently live for, right? It's a constant struggle, right? To make sure that you have a roof over your head and your bills are paid. And then they take half your shit, right, for taxes that they then do nothing with, right, except feed their military industrial complex and black op organizations and operations, and programs like DARPA and things like that, where they're creating technology that then gets turned around and used against us. It's always funny, side note, some people are not going to like what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. People always talk about eat the rich and make the rich pay more on their taxes. And I know that that's a mindset that's been echoed through the school system all the way up through like the media, that everybody's just echoing this thing and nobody's stopping to ask why we should be giving 50% of our hard-earned money to a fucking, like I'm not going to say what, but why should we be giving 50% of our earned money to an organization that, okay, so we're supposed to give 50% of our money to pay for a police system. But if you are a person of color, that police system is less likely to help you and actually can be used against you. And let's just table that too. I don't know if you've ever had something happen to you, like, I don't know, like somebody stole a porch or stole something off your porch. That happened to me. I had a package stolen off my porch. I had this person on ring. Their vehicle was on the camera. Their face was on the camera. I called the police. I showed them the video and they're like, yeah, there's nothing we could do about it. You should call your insurance company and just give them this number. Nothing. So what am I paying you for? Exactly. To give me a fucking ticket? If I go 5 miles over the speed limit, that's what I'm paying you for. That's what I'm paying 50% of my hard-earned money, is to go for you to basically not actually do your job and then to harass me with a parking ticket because like my back tire was in the red zone. That actually happened to me. Right? The thing that pisses me off is when you're driving on the highway and you see somebody's car that's clearly, they're having a bad day already. Like their car is just parked on the side of the road. And then to add insult to injury, there's a fucking ticket on their car. Like the big bright orange ticket. Yo, fuck you. How is that protecting us? And how is that serving us? Exactly. I really need you to really sit with that. Okay, so that's the police department. I've had people tell me, like, those one of my friends who lives downtown San Diego, they have like a homeless it's not even a homeless issue, it's people with mental health. Like, let's just keep it's a mental health issue because these people need help and they're living on the streets in a system of which you're paying 50% of your earnings to. I've ranted about this before, but I'll say it again. If I'm paying you half it's going to be half soon, so we're just going to say half. If I'm paying you half of what I earn, then you should be housing and taking care of the people who I'm paying you half of my money to take care of. Well, there was somebody who was in the backyard of one of my friends, and it was a person who was mentally, unwell, and they happened to be houseless as well. All right, and so the person was like doing drugs, and they were moving in a way that was erratic. My friend called the police, and the police literally, they sent him to voicemail. He kept calling, and eventually he called somebody, and they're like, yeah, this is not an emergency. And then they like hung up on him. So he had to go and try to tell the person who was clearly mentally unwell to like leave. And that was putting himself at risk because that person was already erratic and could have reacted in a violent way. And then I'm sure, yes, if something happened where that person did react violently, then yes, eventually the cops would show up 30 minutes after the fucking fact to do nothing because you can't unstab somebody if he had gotten stabbed. That's what 50% of your paycheck is going towards. If it's not going towards that, right, our roads are shit. Right, so the firefighters, honestly, that's pretty much all I would say they did good for them, because our education system, that's just a system of indoctrination. Think about all the shit that you supposedly learned in public school that you're now having to unlearn. You're being programmed. So that's what 50% of your paycheck is going to, is for corporations to essentially brainwash your children. There's a video I posted on this on my Instagram channel, and I think on my YouTube as well. Go watch that because or Google it. Like I put articles on there as well of how corporations essentially pay to program our kids to accept that like GMO and shit like that is perfectly safe and good for you. And then our cafeterias are filled with their poison. Cheetos, red number 40, cancer, amongst other things. That's just the little things that they tell us about. Okay, 50% of your paycheck is going to that. And if it's not, it's going to essentially the neocolonization of brown and black countries. Amongst other things. I also mentioned very quickly black op organizations, research that we will know nothing about, and everything else. And so now you're running and you're saying the rich needs to pay their fair share. But they're avoiding taxes. What you should actually be saying is, why should you be taking half of my money and you're not doing anything productive with my shit? Instead, you're saying tax the rich instead of don't take half my shit. I don't know. I got to talk anyway. So yeah, I got onto that rant. But yeah, so if you're not sitting, if you're not working, then you're useless, right? Remember, you're a useless eater. They like to use that term. Google useless eater, right? You're just consuming. So just to do something that like naturally animals do after they've worked, right? A lion will hunt, and then he'll just chill. Birds will hunt, and then they'll just chill. Every creature on this planet works and then relaxes, except for quote unquote civilized man, who honestly, even when he's sick, feels guilty for resting because he's not working to earn money that's just going to go to a bank so that they can use the money that you've just worked for to go and do whatever nefarious like bullshit that they're doing, which is not what this episode is about. But if you're listening to this episode, if you're listening to this podcast, you already know. Cool. That mindset of work until you fucking die, and if you're resting, there's something wrong with you, you're useless, and you're doing nothing. That's a slave mentality that we've all been programmed against. Please go and enjoy your life. Please enjoy your life. Life itself, aside from all the other bullshit I just mentioned, life itself, the simulation itself, will throw you some bullshit. Will knock you upside the head with some curveballs. As you get older, your body will will do some things. This is probably the best you will ever feel. Unless you're going through some shit right now, then ignore me. Just ignore what I just said. I hope you feel better soon. But then remember the next time, once you're feeling better, that, hey, you're healthy. You're healthy. You have your vision. You have your sight. You can move. You can hear. You can taste. Go do all that shit. You got vacations. You're not doing anybody a favor being and say, like, I've accumulated like 3 months of vacation. Good. Congrats. You're a slave. Use your fucking vacation. You know, the word occupation is interesting to me because essentially what it means is when you say, what is your occupation? It just means what is the shit that you do to just be occupied. Busy work. That's what that is. You're just occupying your time until you die. And somebody is taking advantage of that occupation for them to make money off of you. If you're not working for yourself. And even if you are working for yourself, if you're an entrepreneur, you're still not working for yourself if you are renting or you have credit card bills or whatever. You're still paying somebody to exist. I'm not exempt from this, so this is not me pointing the finger. I was an entrepreneur with a car note and rent and a mortgage. Please go enjoy your life. All these rules that stop us, right? An internal monologue, right? You're getting ready to do something. This is always fun for me when I work in a video and I go paint it and I go get ready to post it, and then the internal monologue starts its bullshit. There used to be a time when I actually like would sit and actually like pause and hesitate before, I had to like fight through it. And now it's like, yep, this video is shit. No one's gonna like it. Nobody's gonna comment. Yep, totally makes no sense. Nobody's gonna understand this. Whatever. Yeah. And then I post that anyway. Like as it's talking, I'm like, yeah, no, you're right. This is shit. But I'm gonna go ahead and post shit anyway. Right. That voice, the program, those are all rules. That's the voice of all these rules and all these regulations that have been instilled in our heads. All this morality and judgment and everything like that has been imposed on us. You say you're free when you literally have a slave driver in your head where you can't even like post a picture of yourself or move in a particular way or live in a particular way without worrying about what another human being who came onto the same planet the way you did and is not above you in any way, shape, or form beyond what they have told you they're superior to you or what you've been programmed to believe. That is what you're allowing to affect how you live your life. The last time I checked, I looked around. It's all humans. just like you, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 hands, same lifespan, just like you. So why would you give a fuck what they think about, anybody thinks about you? Why? These are other humans. They're not aliens. They're humans, just like you. And all the rules that we adhere to were made up of humans, made up by humans, just like you. So once again, why do you give a fuck what any other human has to say about you? And why would you give any other human the right to impose their bullshit, their ideas, their rules, their laws on you? Shake those shackles off. Here's the thing. Random sidebar. I'll get back on topic. This whole idea of humility is bullshit. That's another slave mentality. All right. So you can't even say like I'm smart. You can't say I'm a genius. You can't say I'm pretty. You can't say I'm the shit, right? You can't pump yourself up without this fear that like something bad's gonna happen to you. So we all walk around moving in a way where we can't even pat our own selves on the back for like doing a good job, right? We have to wait for other people to like compliment us, and then when they do compliment us, we have to like reject it. This whole weird song and dance, that whole game that's been imposed on us, that mindset has been imposed on us. Okay, that's great. And then literally you have people who refer to themselves as the elites. They call themselves elite, which by definition means that the same two-handed, 2 feet people, human beings came to this earth just the same way as you did, kicking and screaming. Perhaps they had more opportunities, obviously, than you do, but it doesn't make them superior. They just had more access to fiat money and capital wealth than you did, but that doesn't make them superior to you. They call themselves elite. Do you see anything bad happening to them? You're afraid to pat yourself on the back because you think something bad's going to happen to you. These motherfuckers walking around calling themselves elite and stay getting paid. Maybe take that false humility bullshit and throw that out the window. You have a whole queen, this old woman who is not attractive in any way. She didn't seem particularly smart, and she was just there. And she called herself the queen and made people call her your majesty. This is just a human being just like you. And her whole entire inbred ass family, they walk around with gold crowns on their head and expect people to bow to them. If the reason why you're moving to a point where you can't even say you're pretty is because you think something bad's going to happen to you, maybe take a step back and look at literally like the Queen of England. Oh, she's dead now, but like she lived 96 years. I don't think anything bad fucking happened to her. And she walked around having people basically call her your majesty, which basically is saying, I am superior to you. And people had to bow to her. I'm sorry, but if nothing happened to her, I think you'll be okay if you look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I don't deserve this kind of behavior. I don't deserve this kind of treatment. I don't have to stand for this. I am the shit. I'm a good person. I work my ass off. I take care of people I love. I'm going to start taking care of me because I deserve it. That's a slave mindset, because I guarantee you these people who call themselves elite aren't moving with the same sense of quote unquote humility. Be humble, right? That's what we've been programmed to think. Be humble, because somehow we feel like if we just lower our heads, you know, God or the simulation or whatever the fuck will reward us by by us lowering our heads and being subservient. All that is doing is conditioning yourself to be low. I'm going to need you to sit with that and go back to the notes. Okay. Resting is not doing nothing. If you want to sit and spend your day literally just laying down, especially after you earned it in the sense of you've done something. I don't mean earned it in the sense of you made money. I mean earned it in the sense of you've created something. If you've cooked, if you've cleaned, if you've drawn, if you've painted, if you played on the piano, if you exerted energy in any way, shape, or form, you don't need to be fiscally compensated That's the word I forgot earlier. You don't need to be physically compensated for any exertion of energy in order for you to then reward yourself with resting. Resting isn't doing nothing. If you want to go on a trip and you want to walk around and just eat and look around, you've gone 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You don't have to move with some sort of goal in mind. Just go and fucking rest. Let your rest be the goal. It's just as important as work. Rest is. We also live with this mindset that nothing that we do is worth doing if we're not getting paid for it, right? So we have this underlying drive that whatever it is that we do, whatever experiences that we have, a vacation, right, should not be undertaken unless there's some sort of monetary or fiscal reward out of it. And so we condition ourselves and we structure our lives to make sure that everything that we do has some sort of financial or fiscal benefit, rather than just the experience for the sake of experience. And some people will eventually, every once in a while they'll go on vacation. But while they're on vacation, there's this weird thing that people do where they're just like, yeah, I'm on vacation. But now they're like still working. Like, it's cool. Like, I got to check my emails. I got to return calls. And they feel good doing that. Because somebody conditioned them that if they're not working towards something where eventually they're going to earn money, they're useless. That they are not productive members of society. That they have no value if they're not earning paper, fiat, to then turn around and spend and give to a bank or put in a savings account that's going to be utilized by a bank. I'm not saying don't save your money. Please don't miss my point. I'm just saying sometimes, a lot of the times, 50% of your time on this planet should be spent doing what you want to do for the sake of what you want to do and just for the experience of it. Even just resting. There's no such thing as doing nothing. Even if you sit without engaging in something or some sort of activity, you're still doing something. You're resting. If you're observing a sunset, that's doing something. If you're going for a walk, you're going for a walk. If you're observing, you're doing something. You don't have to be a slave. This mindset of everything has to be work related, or everything has to be a hustle, or everything has to earn you money. That is the mentality of a slave that has been imposed on all of us. The experience itself is something. Don't divorce the experience. Don't divorce yourself from the experience simply because there's not some sort of financial benefit out of it at the end goal. Think about how we've been programmed to live, guys. To the point where our daily lives even. And then turn around and we think we're free. That's freedom.